Yeah, I've been told who I'm supposed to be long enough. I've been chasing shadows my whole life. Stories told that never feel right. Truth.
And hello, we're back. Nice to see everybody again. Pleased to be here. It's me and the cat tonight. So let me ask you a question tonight. Boo, don't do that. Let me ask you a question. Why are Americans paying more for gas while companies report record profits? Why are we funding military that stretches all over the world at the same time we're arguing over, who should even be in it? Something doesn't add up. And tonight we're going to break down exactly what's going on, who's paying for it, and why. A lot of people in this country are starting to say, enough. Enough's enough. What do you guys think? Is enough enough? I think enough's enough. So we'll get into that tonight for sure. And who we got in here? Hi, Debbie. How are you, Debbie? Sorry I didn't text you back. I got your message, but I've been busy today, and I got my putty kitty with me. So we're going to get straight into it here, all right? Let me ask you something for real. If prices go up because, they have to, because of wars, risk, supply, pressure, whatever, then how do companies turn around and post record setting profits? Because that's what people are saying right now, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't get it. Hey, everyone. Thanks for staying with the conversation. There's a pushback. I keep hearing today, and it sounds like this. The military and the administration say that they have to act in places like the Straits of Summit of Hormuz because of real risks, because the oil companies, hold on, this cat's scratching me, because the oil companies, right, they come out later with the huge profits, even though all this stuff's going on. So people start asking the question, is this about security, or is this about another moment where big oil cashes in? Let's slow this down for a minute. Slogans, no teams, just common sense. Because timing matters. And this is where people, where a lot of people tend to get tripped up. When something happens in the world today, intention, conflict, disruption, oil prices react immediately. Not next month, not next quarter, right now. You'll see prices jump, several percent almost overnight, back towards $100 a barrel range. And that move, it's really, it's real. And it feels it right away. We feel it at the pump, in shipping, and the cost of everything that moves. But profits don't work like that. Companies report profits after the quarter ends, right? That's weeks, sometimes months of data. So when you see headlines about record profits, you're often looking backward, not just at what happened today, right? It's not just about what happened today. Now, here's where it starts to get interesting. Analysts are already revising estimate upward for major producers like, and I don't even know who they are. Why? Because higher oil prices mean higher revenue. You sell the same barrel for more money, right? Isn't that how it works? It's not a conspiracy. It's basic math. But here's the part that people are, reacting to. And I think this is where the confusion really is. So let me slow this down a minute. If prices are going up because they have to, right? Because they have to. Because costs are higher, because risk is higher, because everything, got tighter, then that extra money is supposed to cover those pressures, right? Not create record breaking profits. Because you're not just covering higher costs, your profits should stay about the same, shouldn't they? Maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower, but not the best quarter you've ever had. That's the part people are reacting to. So when people hear we had no choice, prices had to go up, and then later they see best quarter we've ever had, that's not crazy. It's not crazy for asking, wait, which one is it? Now, look, I understand what people will say. Markets are complicated. Global supplies matter. Companies don't control everything. And that's true. Yeah, it is. But common sense doesn't live in a spreadsheet, it lives right here. If everything got harder, why did something do better than ever? Right? That's the disconnect. And that's why people don't fully trust the explanation because it doesn't feel like survival. It feels like opportunity. And now let's be fair. Not every part of the oil business wins when prices spike. Refineries can get squeezed, costs can go up, margins tighten, but volatility creates lose losses, losses. Some companies are already, talking about significant hits. Just how fast prices moved. So this isn't as simple as oil goes up, everyone wins. But here's the bigger question. Is the military action happening to benefit oil companies? There's no clear public evidence of that. The official reasoning is about energy security. The Straits of Hormuz, or whatever it is one of the most critical oil routes in the world. A massive percentage of global supplies move through that one little narrow passage. If that gets disrupted, then you get a small price bump. You get a shock. You don't get a small, you get a shock. And markets don't wait. The price that risk immediately. That's when you're seeing not future supply, not future profits, fear. Fear priced in real time. But here's the tension that comes in. Even if the action isn't for oil companies, they can still benefit from it. And that's the uncomfortable part because two things can be true at the same time. The military acts for strategic reasons, and oil companies make more money when prices rise. That overlap is what makes people suspicious. And let's be honest, people don't trust clean expansions. Not anymore. They see prices go up while they're paying more at the pump, and they assume someone is winning at their expense. And from where I'm sitting here, from where they're sitting, that doesn't matter what the intention was. It matters what it cost them. Now, zoom out. This pattern isn't new. Every time there's tensions around major oil choke points, prices spike. Profits follow. And then arguments come back. Is this real or is this being taken advantage of, right? Critics say windfall profits. Supporters say this is how markets, respond to risk. And the truth, it's not clean. It's overlapping. Incentives. It's timing, right? It's timing differences. It's risk period price instantly. And profits get reported later. So here's the real question. If prices had to go up, then why do the profits look like they didn't? That's the part nobody agrees on. And that's where we're talking about. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you think. But to me, it's like every time I hear prices had to go up because of cost of this or the closing of Hamas, then why is it every time they report record profits? How can profits be record breaking if you had to raise the prices because your prices went up, so you had to raise the prices? Then you wouldn't get record breaking profits, would you? You were just covering the difference. You should have the same profits, not record breaking. See how that's confusing to me? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Your camera is so blurry. Why is my camera blurry? I don't know why it's blurry. I don't know why. It doesn't seem it on my end, but I've heard that before too. I don't know what's going on with it. Huh. Let me try to fix something. Sorry about the camera being blurry, guys. Let's see if I can do something here. So, what do you guys think about that, though? Well, let me get through this, and then I don't know if I can fix this while I'm still going or not. I don't know why. Why is my camera so messed up? Oh, what else you got? Hey, Brooke. Very blurry. I yeah, I don't get it. Ouch, boo. Let me see what we do here. Size and PDF, video file, image file. I don't know what's going on, guys. I don't know what's happening. Sorry about that. I don't want to give you guys crappy things. Share screen. Don't know what this is. I don't know why it's doing that. I really don't know. It shouldn't be blurry. I think its economy is near a very good time soon. You think so? Do you think they're coming to times real soon? It was the same way when you were doing the live stream with the do it with Dave. It was that blurry then too. Ow, boo, goddamn! Bite me like that, you little shit! You bit my hand. I don't know why. Wonder why it's so blurry. Can you block me? No, I'm not playing that game with you, Mister Mister. But you can listen and learn if you would like to. Please, you're more than welcome to listen and learn. It's the shift light they use to do the bar strands on the big valley. What's it talking about? PG&E. It's the shift light they use to do on Barbara. I don't even know what you're talking about. Hello, Ashley. It's like every time you have a surgery on my tax dollars. No, it's not, because when you have a surgery on your tax dollars, and not just your tax dollars, because I paid my insurance too, and I paid it for probably 3 times as long as you have, because I'm 60 years old. And you're probably in your early 20s, even if you're not. If you do the math, and every single trans person in this country were to get a surgery done like I've had, it would cost you 15 cents. So, no, it's not the same. I do remember Big Valley, but I don't know what you mean by the lights. You ever sucked a water hose? Yeah, I have actually sucked a water hose. Have you? So anyway, that's one thing I was, and I'm really apologize for the camera. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't, because when I do it testing, in my view that I'm seeing right here, it looks pretty clean. It doesn't look blurry at all. So I don't know why it's blurry for you guys. It doesn't make sense to me. Don't know. I really don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why. See something here. USB videos. I'm going to try something. You might lose camera here. We'll see if this works. No, that doesn't work. Oh, I don't like that view at all. That view is terrible. Oh, well. Here we go. Hey, from Australia, Brooke, looking good. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Why do you want to tell people to be gay? Is that okay? Why do I want to tell people to be gay? Gay means happy in the Bible. So I think everybody should be happy, shouldn't they? Just saying. So that was about that. I got a couple other things I want to talk about. Just 2 more things I want to talk about here tonight. 2 more subjects, because this stuff is really boggling me, because I don't get it, right? Just don't get it. So how do markets behave when the world gets unstable? Right? I don't get that. I just don't get it. So I got something else I want to talk about. That one takes, this one here, it just bugs me a little bit, because it's about why we have to be the world's police. Why do we always have to be the world's police? So we'll stop dancing around. If the United States is going to keep acting like the world's police, then maybe it's time we start getting treated like it. Because right now we're doing the job, we're carrying the risk, and we're paying the bills. And we're not getting anything close to equal return. That doesn't make sense. Not to the American taxpayer, not to the families trying to get by, not to people, watching their cost go up or their dollars go out. So here's the line: if we're going to stay engaged globally, if we're going to keep projecting power, if we're going to keep stepping in, then the terms have to change. Real burden sharing, not symbolic, not optical, real. That means allies stepping up in their own regions, financially, militarily, and politically. That means, you know, commitments that's actually match the level of projection they receive. And yes, that means the United States getting something tangible in return: stronger trade positioning, clear economics, advantage strategic, arrangements that benefit American workers and American families. Because if we're going to underwrite global security, then American citizens should see the return on that investment. And if that doesn't happen, then we need to start having a very serious conversation in this country about scaling back, not abandoning the world, not retreating overnight, but pulling back from the arrangements where the cost is high and the return is low and the expectations are completely one-sided. Because here's the truth: this isn't just about foreign policy anymore. This is about priorities. It's about whether the United States, continues to stretch itself across the globe while people here feel like they're falling behind. It's about whether we keep writing checks outward while things at home keep getting harder. And that's about the future. Because people are starting to look at their kids, at their grandkids, and ask a very real question: what kind of a country are we leaving them? Right? One that invests in itself, or one that spent decades carrying everyone else's weight? That's where this is heading, right? So, yeah, if we're going to be the world's police, then maybe it's time we start getting paid. And if not, then maybe it's time we rethink the job. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about that stuff? What do you think about that? Because I'm just tired of our prices go up. We pay for every bullet. We pay for every bomb. We pay for every airplane loss. We pay for everything. And that's just the military aspect that we do over there. That's not mentioning all the financial assistance we give other countries all over the world. But it seems like nobody's giving back. Does it feel like, is that just me? Does it feel like we're getting nothing for our investment? I mean, I don't know. I just look at things and look at the taxes and I look at, they want how much for this war? How much? Like next year's budget, they're asking for $1.5 trillion dollars for the military. $1.5 trillion dollars for the military. And if we spend that military usually fighting somewhere else, shouldn't we get paid for that? Shouldn't somebody reimburse us for the bombs and all the shit that we're using over there when they ask for our help? I'm not saying don't help, but I'm saying charge a fee. Because what would we look like if we reversed that and put all that money we spend protecting everybody else and put it towards our infrastructure in our country? Would that make us selfish? I don't know. Maybe we should try it. Now, while we're on the subject of military, I'm allowed to poop while I watch the stream. Yes, you're allowed to do anything you want, but you're not allowed to be at liberty to tell us all. That's just disgusting. It really is. But whatever. Wash your hands, please. Just wash your hands. Gross. So one last subject I want to talk about, right? Let me ask you something. How can something be so serious enough to end a military career? Let me repeat that. How can something be so serious that it's serious enough to end a military career, but not serious enough to qualify for disability support? Because that's exactly what's happening. And I don't get it. I want to talk about something, it does not sit right with me. And I've been going back and forth on this, trying to make sense of it. And the more I think about it, the less it makes sense. So let's just talk about it. No spin, no slogans, just common sense, right? That's what I do here. Common sense. Right now, there are service members being separated from the military because of gender. gender dysphoria to be a fact, because they're trans. They're being asked to leave. That's the terms they use, gender dysphoria. And the reasoning sounds straightforward. They say this condition can affect readiness, it can affect deployment ability, it can require ongoing treatment, it can interfere with unit cohesion, it doesn't meet the standards required for military service. Okay, I guess I understand that part. The military is not a normal job. They need people that can deploy anywhere, anytime, under extreme conditions. I get that. No questions, no delays. So when they say we have to make decisions based on readiness, I get it. But here's where it loses. I get lost. Here's where it stops making sense to me. They tell these service people, service members, you can't serve anymore. This condition makes you unfit for duty. That's it. Clear. Career over. Uniform off. You're done. Now, usually they get an honorable discharge, right? Sometimes separation pay. Fine. But then the same person goes to the and says, all right, this condition ended my military career. What kind of disability support is there? And now the answers change. Now it's, well, it depends. Maybe, not necessarily, it might not meet the criteria. And I'm sitting here thinking, wait a minute. Hold on. It was serious enough to end their military career, gender dysphoria, serious enough to say you don't meet the standards anymore, but now it's not clearly serious enough to qualify for support? What changed? Because from the outside, nothing changed about the person. Nothing changed about the condition. Only the rules changed. And that's where it starts to feel off. It starts to feel prejudiced. That's where it starts to feel like something isn't lining up. Now, look, I understand there are two different systems, right? I do. 1, 2. That's military ask can do the job. Can the VA ask how inspired are you in the civil life? Right? Those are not the same questions. I get that. I get that. I really do. But here's the problem to the person living it. It doesn't feel like two different questions. It feels like one real reality. You lose your job. You lose your career because you have disability. Your gender dysphoria. According to the military, this disqualifies you for service. Not just service, but to be in the service at all. Not just saying you can't go to the war, saying you can't be in the military because this is such a serious condition. You're not fit to serve. Followed by, you might not qualify for support either. And that's where I go, I don't get it. I just don't get that. How can it be? Because if something is serious enough to take your career away, then how is it not serious enough to clearly define what happens afterwards? And don't tell me it's just two different systems. That's bullshit. I understand that it's one system, but I understand what they're doing. Systems don't exist in a vacuum. People live in the outcome of those systems. And that the outcome here, sometimes services our country, wears the uniform, follows the rules, and then one day policy changes, standards shift, and their situation gets evaluated differently. And now they're out. Get out. And then they turn around and say, okay, now what? The answer isn't clear. That's not clarity. That's a gray area. And the gray areas are when people start asking questions. And I'm not going to say this carefully because I know some people aren't going to like it. From the outside, this doesn't just look like a system. It looks like a way to solve one problem without taking, on the cost of it. And maybe that's the intention. Maybe. I'm not saying it is. But if that's the result, people are going to see it that way. Because from where I'm sitting, it feels like the rules changed, not the person, the rules. And here's another layer of this. If you start broadly defining something as compensatable disability, that has a ripple effect, not just in the military, but everywhere. Civilian systems, insurance systems, legal systems. So now you're dealing with something bigger, more complicated. And maybe that's part of why the lines get drawn the way it does. But again, the system thinks, it's thinking, this is not a person thinking. A person is thinking, I gave my time, I did my job, I told the conditions ended my career. That I was told the conditions ended my career. So now what? And if the answer is unclear or inconsistent or depends on which office you ask or walk into, that's where trust starts to break down. And when trust breaks down in something like the military, that's a problem. That's a big problem. It's because one of the biggest promises the military makes is that they take care of their own. And when situations like this come up, people start asking, do they? Do they really? No, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not pretending to be one. But I can look at something and say, hey, that doesn't add up. Not to me. And this doesn't add up to me at all. You can call it policy. You can call it structure. You can call it two different standards. But here's what I call it. If something is serious enough to take your career, it should be serious enough to clearly define what's happening next. Right? Because right now, it feels like the system knows how to end the story, but not how to take care of the person after it. I'd like to hear from you guys on this too. It pisses me off. You know why they want to do that? Because if they give people in the military, when they kick them out for simply being trans, you're trans, get out. Why? How? Well, you have to have grounds for that. Well, you have a mental illness, you have a mental disability, you're unable to do the job. Well, if I have a mental disability and that causes me to be unable to do my job, then shouldn't I get disability insurance? No, no, that's different. No, it's not. They say it is. And if they agree to that, then the rest of the world, anybody who's diagnosed with gender dysphoria would be eligible for disability. They just want transgender people out of the military. They're finding every which way they can. Just one more time, one more way. As a trans community, when we act crazy, we act weird, shit happens. They come down on us. Weird doesn't last. We need to be careful how we do things, what we want, what we expect the world to believe. These are the direct results of transgender women in women's sports, of letting transgender people with penises in women's locker rooms, of trying to transgender kids before they're 18. This is direct results of that. You can say it's not all you want. This is the pushback. This is what happens when they think trans insanity runs in all of us, when it doesn't. We need to get a hold of this. We need to slow it down, because now you got people losing their careers over this. That's not fair. That's not right. If they can pass the physicals, if they can do the work, they should not be kicked out of the military simply because they're trans and you don't like it. Too fucking bad. What do we got? We got some trolls in here. It's troll time. You have no right to tell any child to wait before they're 18, especially by someone like you. I don't. I thought that I would have more of a than anybody. I'm not telling some child. I'm talking to parents, not children. Children should make those decisions because they don't have the brains to do it. I'm talking to their moms and dads. Your child does not have critical thinking skills developed in the frontal cortex yet. Therefore, they are unable to make a decision based on what they know because they can't know yet. They're too young. Do you let them decide any other medical condition besides this one? No, this is the only one that we would let kids go, yeah, that's what I want to do. Cut it off. Take my breast, take my penis, whatever. That's ridiculous. They don't have the maturity to Just do it. That's what I'm saying. Why would you want children to make life-altering decisions before they even have a fully developed brain? That's sick. Something wrong with that. I'm sorry, you may not like it. That's just the way it is. That's why kids don't get to make adult decisions. God damn. I think the Supreme Court should make that judgment. They have made that judgment. They have. I think parents should make that judgment. Isn't parents' job to protect their kids? Right? To keep their kids from doing stupid shit? I thought that's what we did. Got our kids from 0 to 18 to one piece and then let them go destroy their own lives. So, what age did you know you were trans? Well, I knew that there was something going on with me early in life, but I didn't know what it was because I was unable to know what it was. When I finally figured out exactly what it was, I was 54 years old. I'm not saying anybody should wait till they're 54. My advice, this is just advice, would be to wait till you're 24, 25 years old because the proof of the pudding is between 25 and 26 years old is when your brain fully develops and you gain full critical thinking skills, which allows you to understand the ramifications, risks for what you do when you transition. What it means actually to transition, what you're losing, what you're gaining. Before that, you don't know. You think you know because teenagers know everything, right? No, I'm 61. You've never seen a child have a sex change. Well, that's funny because a girl just sued. The counselor and their doctor won $2 million for having her breasts removed. There's I think there's 120 more cases lined up. That child was 16. Now she's an adult. She's asking people, why would you do this to me? Well, you said you wanted it. I was a kid. The court said we agree, and they awarded her $2 million. 1.4 million for damages, and I think 600,000, whatever it is, 600,000 for restoration surgeries to put her breasts back together. Now, you might not think that that is sex change because it's breasts. I do. When the person had it done, I think she was 16 when she had it done. And people support shit like this. Like what? Like that? Yeah, people do. I don't even call this a gender. This is nothing. I don't call this a gender. What do you mean this is nothing? I don't even know what you're trying to say. People speak English. You can't just throw acronyms out there or just throw 3 words out there and expect everybody to know what you're thinking. It doesn't work that way. It's not that simple. If less than one, let me see this way. If less than 1% of people start regretting heart surgery, would we just stop performing it then? Yeah, we would. Because if people started to complain about heart surgeries, maybe people were dying. It's not, and this is not the same thing, but I'm going to go with you on this one, okay? It's not less than 1%. The percentages are going to go up. And believe me, over the next few years, they're going to skyrocket because here's what happened. We used to have a set number of transgender people in this country, and it lasted for a very long time, around 27,000. Over the last 4 years, it spiked to 2.5 million. It's not a natural spike. It's not natural numbers. It will go down to the regular number, but you're going to have a crap load of kids going, what were you thinking? Why would you let me make that decision? Right? And when you need heart surgery, that's not a decision usually. That's not something you ask your parents about. Well, my heart's failing. Should I get a heart surgery? No. It's also something that you don't determine when you get older, whether or not it's real or not. It's not a fair comparison. It's just not. You might think it is, but I don't. Have you found anyone and they found out that you were a man? See, what does this say? Have you ever fooled anyone and they found out that you were a man? No, I don't try to fool anybody. It's obvious that I'm a trans person, tall, got broad shoulders, and I don't try to fool anyone. And to take it one step further, not only do I not try to fool one, I tell people that are trans, if somebody is interested in you sexually or whatever that way, I think you have a moral obligation to tell that person I'm trans and let them decide whether or not they want to pursue that. Don't make them guess later. Don't surprise, especially if you don't have bottom surgery or something. You could get yourself hurt. That's not cool. You should never do that. Never. Be honest. Be proud of who you are. There's no reason you have to be ashamed of being a trans woman or trans girl. Right? It's okay. But there is something wrong with fooling people or catfishing them. That there's something seriously wrong with that. And I disagree with that 100%. Okay, has the number of trans people actually gone up to 100,000? Yes, it has. It has. It went from 27,000, was around the average number of trans people. This is mainly youth we're talking about here, but 27,000, 0.03%. If I'm fairly certain I'm pretty accurate. It might be off by a couple percent or hundreds of a percent. And it went up to 3%, from 0.03% to 3%. That hike represents between 2.5 million cases reported on 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, something like that. Or maybe it's 22, 23, 24. It's recently. It's when this big craze happened, when all of a sudden being trans was cool, and all of a sudden counselors started fast tracking kids. All of a sudden doctors started fast tracking puberty blockers and hormones. That's when parents started to pay attention. That's when they started to push back. But yeah, I believe that you're going to have a big push. And the majority of people that are detransitioning right now are girls that were, female to male. They're the main ones that are going there going, wow, why would you let me do that? And the counselors are going, hey, you said so. And then the parents are going, well, no, you said that if I didn't do this, my kid would hurt themselves. So I went along with that. And judges are hearing this, and judges said, that's not cool. It's not what your job is. So the doctor and the counselor lost. I think the counselor had to pay the majority of it, not the doctor. But I think a doctor, any doctor out there, if you're talking with a child, the doctor knows when your frontal cortex, when your critical thinking skills are developed and matured. They should not agree to this. Anyway, yeah, that's what I think. The person with 100% spot on, straight up and honest. Thank you, Eric. Yes, I am. I'm telling you like it is. It's funny when you worry about yourself, Joe. Are you perfect? Let me know who is without sin cast the first stone. Yeah, exactly. That's a biblical thing, and it's just a dumb argument. What does this say? He's been here to hate for days in a row. You guys, he's a straight fella. Oh, really, Cherry? Who are we talking about? Who are you guys talking about here? Joe, what? Is it this guy here? Like I said, everyone who supports this is the devil's spawn. Boy, aren't you a judgmental fellow, little guy, right? And who are you to tell anybody on this planet who they are and who they worship and who they follow or whatever? Who made you freaking God? Yourself. That's it. That's right. Because you're an idiot. Because your brain's not developed fully. Because you have a little peanut in there. And you're lonely, right? That's it. Gosh, I always forget that. You're just lonely. And this is how you get attention. You come into other people's rooms and you start saying stuff. Oh, you're the devil's spawn. The God. No. You're just lonely and you want attention. And we give it to you when you come in. Well, you know what, guys? We should just ignore this person because, like I did with my child, when they cried for no reason, I put them in a timeout. Just let them cry in the corner until they cried themselves out. So let's let Joe do that. Let's let Joe cry himself out. Says the man in a dress. Says the man in a dress. Yeah, damn right. Says the man in a dress. Yep. Biological male right here. Proud of it. I'm a transgender lady. I have no boy parts, but I'm still biological male. Doesn't that kind of take the wind out of your sails when you hear that? Doesn't that, you're like, well, you're a, damn it. That's exactly what I said. But you're not a, oh, damn, you said that too. Shit. Where's my argument going to go? I'm just going to say it anyway because even though you already admitted it, you're not a woman. Yeah, I just admitted that. Yeah, but you're not. That's just how dumb your argument sounds. Evil is the one who hates thy neighbor. Ooh, that's a good one. I like that one. Don't you burn when you walk in? Don't you burn when you walk into a church? No. Do you? That is. Yep, I sure do. Damn it. How'd you know? Were you there last time? I walked in. I was on fire. I had to leave. Set off smoke alarms. Yeah, sprinklers and everything. Everybody's getting soaking wet because right when I walked in, I was on fire. Like a 3 alarm fire. Shit, I didn't even know what was going on. I'm going, God damn, that person must have been right. Oh my God. Dumb. Dumb, 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 dumb. Take that cross off. No, I'm not going to take the cross off. Sorry. Because Jesus loves me. This I know. For the Bible tells me so. Special place in hell for homosexuals? No. California, listen to me, California. California, listen to me. Listen to me for a minute. There's a special place in hell for people that pretend to know where everybody else is going. People that walk around this planet and say they know what God wants. But I tell you what, God didn't whisper in your ear. God didn't tell you, hey, man, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go around and condemn every gay person you see publicly. No, we didn't tell you that because God's about love and you're an idiot, right? That's called blasphemy. So if you read the Bible, if you ever do pick it up and actually open the pages and start turning them, right, without having your mom read to you, you'll see that God's about love, not hate. You're about hate, bro. You think that you know everything. You don't have the right to tell anybody on this planet whether they're going to heaven or not. You just don't. And the fact that you think that you do, you probably still count on your hands, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Moron. Here we go. Let's see what this says. I honestly think the world needs more civil disclosure. I would urge that the trolls to ask a few questions instead of preaching or hating. Thank you for sharing your perspective. Exactly, Zed. Now there is somebody who has a brain. This person actually has a brain, and they're using it. Instead of condemning people, ask a question. Instead of trying to find ways that they fit your narrative, why don't you find out what's really going on? Ask a question. Because you think you know an answer before you even ask. You don't know me. I don't know you. You're just a person on my screen acting like an idiot. Right? When I'm sitting here trying to protect kids, trying to protect the rights of our service members that are transgender, trying to just protect general common sense, telling my community to lower the rhetoric. I got to sit here and listen to you buffoons tell me I'm going to go to hell. I'm not going to hell, right? I get to go to heaven because I repent my sins. I have sinned. Oh, yes, I have. But I'm telling you right now, this is not it. Being transgender is not my sin. It's my happiness. And if God doesn't want me to be happy, then that's not a God I would want to worship. But I don't think that's what it is. I think God would love me to be happy with who I am. Gosh, just the goal of people, just the nerve of people to think that you actually have that power. It's just beyond, that just boggles my mind. It really does. I'm not a cross dresser. A cross dresser is a different thing, right? Okay, that's probably you. You are probably a cross dresser. I'm transgender, transsexual, which means I didn't just change my clothes and underwear. I changed my private parts. Yep, I did. Yeah. So you're probably sitting there with makeup all over your face, wearing your wife's underwear because she's probably sleeping, and judging me. So please don't. Please stop. Yeah. It's not a good look for you. He's not just about love. Well, he should be. God told me so. How dare you tell me differently? God didn't tell you shit, Funk. He didn't tell you nothing. Because here, if you believe in the Bible, here's the part that's going to screw you all up. This is going to hurt. So sit down for a minute because this one's going to smart a little bit. God said in the Bible that you cannot hear him. It's impossible. Because he said that his voice is so powerful, it would literally kill you if you heard his voice. So since you're typing, I'm assuming you're not dead, right? And if you're going to follow the Bible, then the Bible says you couldn't have hurt him. It's impossible. You wouldn't have survived. So which is it? Was he lying then or you're lying now? I think you're lying. Self righteous people who think they know it all and most hate full of energy. Yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? Here we go. Here's another one. I pray you find the Lord in the path that you've taken. You take, and I hope you give. Oh, I hope you give your life to Him and repent for your sins. Matthew, I do. I do. I've already given my heart to the Lord. I've already repented my sins. I repent them when I think I've committed them. But I don't think finding your happiness and living your best life is a sin. I don't see that. I just don't. This is evil. You wouldn't know evil if it went up and bit you in your fat ass. Josie. Transsexual feminine male. I guess that's one way of looking at it. I prefer to use different terminology, but that's technically accurate, I guess. But I'm not really feminine, but I am, transsexual. So, we'll go 50-50. You win half, I win half. Creature, I'm dead. You're dead. So you're coming from the other side. Wow, that's impressive. Jody, you got a problem. She's in her 60s and doesn't have glasses on. Or do I have a problem? No, my glasses are right here. They're not on. Why cut it off? That's crazy. Because, you see, when your brain, this person ask, why cut it off? Oop, I did the wrong one. Did I? Did I do the wrong one? Okay, here we go. Why cut it off? That's crazy, they say. When I was born, my brain thought that I was a girl. And it takes a long time to put that all together in your head. And there's different levels to being transgender, just like there's different severities to epilepsy. Some people have it worse than others, or dyslexia, or other brain disorders, right? There's different levels. You can have a severe, or you can have a mild form, just like, or hermaphrodites, intersex people. Some of them have full on vaginas and penises. Some of them have just resemblance, parts of it. Me personally, I believe from the science that I follow, that I read about, that because that part of my brain completely believed it, it's not about cross dressing to me. It's not about, that doesn't make me feel whole. It doesn't make me feel like me. What I knew I had to do when I finally accepted who I was I wanted a full sex change, fully, because I wanted to do and live as close to a female as I could, because I know I never can be a female, but I'm trying to live as close as I can because I can't change my brain. My brain thinks one thing, my body is another. I can change my body to match my brain. And that's the route I went. Could I have actually changed my brain to match my body? I probably would have. But you can't. It's hardwired. What are you going to do? What do we got here? Bro, sis, whatever, hun, human, I got your back. Thank you. And I would take that. Take it. I appreciate you having my back. More people should be like that. It shouldn't matter who, what you are, to just get common decency amongst the public. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. It's just all about being nice to people. God, it doesn't hurt. The brain is, boo, you need to not do that. Get down, you fucking cat. It's great that you gave your life to Christ, but you're finding happiness is in sin. I don't think I am. I know that you think I am. But look, we can all interpret the Bible whatever we want, whichever way that we see fit. Did you ever just stop? Look, I'm trying to be respectful to you because I think your comment was respectful. Do you ever think that maybe God has different plans for different people? And he speaks to people in different ways, right? That it's not just one generic, I'm telling you and it should be that way for everybody. Maybe, just maybe, that's why the Bible is kind of vague on what it means about things. It kind of like leaves the door open to be interpreted in different ways? Do you ever think maybe that's the reason? Because I'm not so powerful that I can surpass God's will. This was God's will for me. This is what He said to me. This is how He spoke to me. And I don't think anybody should have or think they have the power to tell me that that's wrong or that I'm wrong. And if it happens when I die, it's an issue that's between me and God, nobody else. God said not to judge, and I see a lot of judging happening in this room right now. Just saying. God let Brooke. What does that say? God let Brooke make the choices to become her authentic self. Yes, exactly. I like your name too. You're beautiful. What a nice person. What a nice name, huh? That's a really sweet name. Thank God my brain didn't think like that. You're sick. I'm not sick. Because no, your brain couldn't think like mine. Because if your brain thought like mine, you'd have common sense, and we wouldn't want that to happen, right? Right? You would have kindness in your heart, but you don't. You have anger and meanness in your heart, and so I don't know what's wrong with you, but I'm glad my brain is not like yours because you're living in misery, man. That sucks. Sucks for you. So why do you judge other people? How am I judging other people? I'm simply telling them not to judge me. I give my opinion. Everybody has an opinion, right? This last person. I wasn't judging them. I was flat out telling them I think they're stupid. But I was trying to do it in a nicer way because of the things that they say gives me the impression that they're not very intelligent, right? That has nothing. I'm not projecting God's opinions on him. Those are my personal opinions, or her, or whatever it is. I want to see your fake boobs. I'll tell you what. As soon as you walk down the street and you ask that to every woman you see walking by, and they all show you, then I'll show you mine. Okay? Dumbass. Let's see. You can't cloak yourself in righteousness and say, be nice if you're trying to justify sin. Now, see, there you go again. You're assuming what I'm doing is a sin, therefore you're speaking for God, therefore you're committing blasphemy. That's one of your things that you're doing here. Two, I am not, what do you say? You can't cloak yourself in righteousness. I am not cloaking myself in anything. I think if you look back, I said that I have committed many sins, but this is not one of them. If that's cloaking myself in righteousness, I got to disagree with you there. I think admitting sins is not righteous, but whatever. It sounded good what you said though. It sounded really good. It just rings untrue. It rings like, listen to me, I'm Jody Girl, cloak yourself in righteousness. Jody Girl, I don't know. Don't you think everybody should be nice? Isn't that just common decency, right? Just because I'm different than a lot of people in this room, does that mean that I'm open target? That I'm fair game to drop your Bible on my head and stomp on it, right? That means that it's okay for you to tell me your interpretations of what religion is, and I should just wholeheartedly drop whatever I'm doing, run back to the hospital, demand my dick back so they sew it back on to fit your narrative of what I should be? Nah. No. I'm trying to destroy men by supporting this. Oh, God. You people. Really. I'm trying to destroy men. But I got two grandsons. And the first thing I would teach them is the importance of a man in a household. But here's what I wouldn't teach them. I wouldn't teach them to discriminate. I wouldn't teach them to hate. I wouldn't teach them prejudice for color or gender or anything. I teach them love conquers all. I teach them to respect others so they'll be respected themselves. That's what I would teach my grandsons. I think that having a man in the house is extremely important, right? And if anybody has a right mind and would give somebody like me a chance to stop judging them, maybe you just might see that there's a person in there that is not lost. They're not crazy. They're not sinners. They're simply trying to live the life that was laid out for them. Do you have kids? Yes, I have two kids. I have two daughters, two beautiful daughters. They're grown up now. They have kids of their own. I have three grandsons and two daughters. Hey, do what makes you happy. I have no offense to what you do. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's all I ask. I'm not asking anybody to even try to understand why I am the way I am because it's hard for me to understand why I am the way I am. Do I think that this is normal? Of course, it's not normal. You're not supposed to think you're in the wrong body, but I did, and I do. So I did what I could to fix that, right? I'm not asking for any special treatments. I probably think about these transgender issues the same way as the majority of people in this room do. I think the people that have the most offense at how my beliefs are when it comes to the trans community are other trans people because they don't like the fact that I want to put common sense in certain areas back. And that pisses them off. The left doesn't like me, the right can't stand me. I'm in the middle. No, it's not normal. Of course, I admit it's not normal. There's nothing normal about thinking you're in the wrong body. That's abnormal. Nobody's supposed to think that. That's a brain disorder. I have a disorder. My brain didn't align with my body. That's not normal. This is not a normal variance of human beings. This is a difference. Just like I said, if you have epilepsy or dyslexia or a learning disability, it's all a symptom of something went a little bit haywire. It doesn't mean that we're crazy. It doesn't mean that we're not normal brains. It just means that we had something different, something not normal. Normal is my brain and my body align. It didn't happen for me. It does for most people, but not for me. What does that say? Anybody else wondering? What does that say? Anybody else wondering what they did with his dick afterwards? I don't know. Put it in a pickle jar. Why does everybody keep saying a pickle jar? I mean, are you trying to ruin pickles for everybody? You know, every time they go to reach for one in the grocery store, they're gonna be like, "Oh God, no, that's a prick. That's a tranny dick right in there. I see it. It's in there, it's floating around." No, you dipshit. They dismantle your penis when they give you a sex change down there. They peel it like a banana, save the critical parts that you need for feeling and for blood flow, and they throw the rest away. As far as my testes went, my balls, the little boys down there, I donated them back to the school, San Francisco UCSF Medical Center. They asked me the day before if I would donate my testicles to them, and I said, absolutely, here you go. Most likely they got dissected. I guess. I don't know. I told handle those things gently because those things are really special. Take good care of them. But what they didn't do was put them in a pickle jar. What they didn't do was make a weird shit out of it. That was just weird. Maybe I should have made earrings out of them. I don't know, my little ball earrings. You see, for some reason, my testicles and my penis mean so much more to you guys than it did to me in the end. But I was a guy, right? I was a guy for a long time, 50 something years. I had sex with women, lots of them. I enjoyed it. It's a good time. When I made this decision, well, let me first ask you guys out there, the guys that are listening to this, let me ask you one question. What would be important enough for you to cut your dick off? Just tell me. What would be so important? What would you do that say, okay, fine, take it? What would it be? Your wife? Would you do it for your wife to save your wife? Would you do it to save your kids? Would you do it to save your life? If they said you got cancer in your wiener, we need to cut it off. A lot of guys would say, no, thanks. No, I'll just die of dick cancer. Right? A lot of people would say that. But I did it because this was that important to me. Right? It was so important to me that I knew that doing that would probably mean sex for the rest of my life because I didn't know what it'd be like on the other side or what the vagina would be or how functional it would be. I did not know, but it was important enough for me to go, yes, do it. I want to live my life this way. And I'm not sorry I did. Do I miss it? Sometimes. When I got to pee outside, that's one of the times. When I think about sex with women, it's another time. But would I trade it? Would I do it over again and not do it that way? No, not at all. I would still do it. I would still do it. That's how important this was to me for my mental health. And if you're a guy and you can't understand where I'm coming from with that, then you're not paying attention to what I'm saying. the and then what does that say? You cut off your hot dog. Was it a hot dog? I cut off my penis. It's okay. This is an adult room. We can say the word penis in here. We don't have to say hot dog. This is an adult room. And if you don't think that you're old enough to say the word penis, then maybe you're not in the right place. I've been told, okay, I've been told you put stuff in your vagina to keep it from closing up, and many infections happen. Okay, let's be honest with you here. Cal of Diddy, that's your name. Your name. Do you know what your name applies to? Anyway, I won't go there. Okay, here's the deal. When it comes to that, yes, you must dilate, and mainly you're dilating for depth, right? It's not an open wound, right? It doesn't like it's not like you're keeping a cut open. Like if it was an open wound, it'd bleed all the time. That's not what happens, right? They take your skin from your penis, they put it where your vagina canal would have been if you would have been a girl, because that still area is still kind of there. It's a little higher than normal because the shaft of penises are a little higher than most vaginas, but some vaginas are higher, some are lower. That's where they put it to keep the depth. It's about the depth. That's why they make you do that. And it's uncomfortable. It's often, and it's for a very, very long time. That's the truth of it, right? Am I saying that this is the same as a natural vagina from a biological female? Of course not. It will never be. Not even close. You can't match what God does, but they do a pretty damn good job. It's kind of impressive what they do. We're just trying to live the best life we can, as close to what we feel natural as we can. That does not make us female. Just because you get bottom surgery doesn't mean you can get babies. Doesn't mean that you have periods. You don't, because you're not biologically female. No, I would never be a biological female. I'm not trying to be a biological female. I'm trying to be the best transsexual woman that I can be. That's all. What do you do you get? I think I just answered your question about the depth or no depth. I really like oops, what is it? I really like you don't get offended by anyone's comments, but instead you try to teach. Very nice, and you're realistic. Yeah, because I think honestly, most of the time, I think there's a true curiosity behind a lot of the questions. Some of them are just gross. Some of them are really they really want to know because maybe they're thinking about a surgery themselves or what they should do. Should they get a depth or no depth? Vaginoplasty or labiaplasty. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of real questions behind it that normally they're not going to find those answers anywhere else. Or maybe they have a kid or a brother or a sister that's going through this and they want to know kind of what that means and they're afraid to ask them. So they ask me here. Well, thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate that. You're beautiful. Yes, God made you fearful and wonderful. Thank you. Yes, I do have a fear of God, but not like people think. I fear that I didn't do enough. I fear that I wasn't empathetic enough. I fear that when I get up there, some of the thoughts that I've had are really going to come back and haunt me. I fear that I've sinned a lot, and I know I have. But Jesus died for our sins, so they're already forgiven once you get there. You just have to repent. That's the way I understood it. An evil human. I'm not evil. I'm really not. I'm really not. Bio butthole. What the fuck? Why would you ask that, weirdo? Okay, let's see what this person says. Does sex feel a lot different? And are you able to have orgasms? Not trying to be offensive. Oh, I don't take that as offensive. For one, I haven't had sex, vaginal sex. I haven't really even tried. I guess I've tinkered a little bit, but not really. As far as orgasms go, I can only go what other people have had. I've not had one myself. I'm not sure what they'll feel like, or even if I can achieve a full orgasm compared to what it was as a man. Not sure. There's positive. Other people say that it's great, it's wonderful, it's a full body one. I don't know for sure, but someday. I'm fairly new out of surgery. It's less than 2 years, so it's still kind of really tender and sensitive down there. it gets to the point now where it's not as bad. I can give it a thorough, well, good washing now. Before you could not touch it. It's just, it's so sensitive. It was very, yeah. There was nothing felt good about touching it, but I'm sure it will, according to everybody else. If everybody else is correct, yes, you can achieve orgasms. I don't imagine it's going to be the same. I don't know how it could be. You know, yeah, I just don't know how it could be, but we'll see. I hope so. I'm 61 years old, so it's different. If I was 20, that would be really, really important to me. But I'm not. I'm 61. Sex is not that important to me anymore. And do I want to have sex? Do I want to experiment? Of course, but I'm not into guys either. So that's another whole thing. I will probably, most likely, never lay down with a man because I'm just not into men. So I don't know. We'll see. Thanks for the question. I don't mind answering that stuff. God knows every hair on your head. He won't get your gender wrong, but God's not going to look in my pants. He's going to look at my soul. What does it say here? No acceptance of sin doesn't make someone a bad Christian. Neither does thinking you're an idiot. Neither does me thinking you're an idiot. Are you talking to me? I'm an idiot? Okay, I accept that. I'm probably not the sharpest tool in the shed, never claimed to be. But cheers to you. Just remember that when I call everybody else in here an idiot as well. Although I don't believe I'm an idiot. I think I see things fairly clearly. I respect you because you're a logical trans person and not here to I'm not here to dog you. Guess I'm used to most trans people being delusional. I understand where you're coming from. And the problem is that's what a lot of people think when they think of trans people is delusional. Because those are the ones that have been brought to the forefront of social media. It's the crazy ass ones. But if you look behind the scenes and you talk to trans people, most of them they don't want to be noticed. They don't want to be up front. They don't want to do what I'm doing because it puts them as a target on their back, and they got enough problems going on. They don't need that. I came out because there had to be another voice for this community than the ones that you see in social media. These crazy idiots that are just making everything bad for us, like these parents that tell their kids that they don't have an advantage when they compete against girls when they're transgender girls. Lying to your kids about that is not helping them because guess what? Eventually they're going to grow up and they're going to move out of their house and they're going to find out the truth. It's just not right. Leave biological women alone. Leave their space alone. Leave them alone. We shouldn't be here about taking something away from a biological woman to prove that we are who we are. It doesn't make us more female because we will not. This is one thing that my community needs to get a grip of. Every single one, from the craziest to the smartest, right? We are not biological females. We will never be biological females. There's nothing we can do, nothing we can change, no surgery we can have, nothing we can do that will make us biological female. Now, we can be a transsexual, transgender lady. You can do that, right? And you should be proud of that. But stop thinking that we somehow, some way have to be them to justify our existence. It's just wrong. We don't need to. Stop it. You're making women feel like they're being replaced by men. And what a terrible feeling that must be, right? What a terrible feeling. And that's a new thing because trans people of old, you talk about older people like my generation and stuff that are trans, we don't think that way. We don't want to replace anybody. We just want to live our lives the best we can. That's all we want to do. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate it. Accepting transgender is causing you to accept a 50% suicidal rate. No, it isn't. Here's what's happening here. Now, this is a very serious topic here. Now, you may not have written that as serious, but here I'm going to tell you something from the inside, from having gone through this, from having parents that are embarrassed of you now, for having a daughter that disowns you because she's humiliated by you for simply trying to live your life. And generally, I think that that's affected by what they watch on TV, what they see on the internet. However, that's not what we're talking about. Yes, the rate of kids and adults that want to hurt themselves are very high. in the transgender community. But you know why? It's not because kids are not allowed to transition when they want to. It's not because being gender dysphoric or having gender, being transgender, having our condition. That's not the cause of it. What causes it is being abandoned, being alone, feeling like there's nobody left, feeling like everybody has turned their back on you. That's what causes that deep, deep, deep despair. That your family no longer loves you, that nobody loves you, that you're worthless because they've all turned their back on you. When you start to feel that abandoned and that alone, that's when things start creeping in your mind. And that happens to a lot of us because people don't understand it. They don't know what it means to be trans. And they're not even willing to listen or learn. So you got people that are transgender, their families have disowned them. They have no friends. They don't know where to go. They feel like they're just not worth living. That's what happens. We need to let these people know that they're loved. You should, if you have a family member that's trans, you need to tell them that you love them. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them. It doesn't mean you even have to understand. But it's really important that you tell them that you love them. Let them know that. That will cure a lot of the problems. And if it doesn't cure that problem, then there's something far deeper rooted than just being trans, right? That's a fact. What's up, bro? We love you, bro. Love you too, I guess. Do your parents get agree? Okay. Did your parents? What was that? It's wrong. It's not wrong. Who are you to say it's wrong? Whatever. I was gonna read that. What does that say? A lot of people that transition because they didn't have any other option. You always have an well, you do and you don't. Okay, listen. I'm gonna read the rest of that. Didn't have an option, but the thing is that there's so many options. Don't have people to help them out with what they're feeling. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with most of what you said. For some reason, we told all of our counselors, our mental health counselors, to push the transgender issue through. Don't know why. It's true. Some people say that's bullshit. It's not real. It is real. I've had people come on the show and actually tell me that they're counselors and tell me about how they were told to push the issue through, and if not, they would be they could lose their license, for discrimination or whatever. Now, if somebody comes to a counselor and claims to be transgender, you should try to find every other thing that it possibly could be before that. You need to get to know them. They need to be diagnosed, not instantly. It takes time to figure out what's going on with them. So take your time with it. Don't rush anything because rushing creates mistakes. Now, is there other options? Yes. If here's what I say to anybody out there that might be trans, think they have some kind of a gender dysphoria. For one, get help. Talk to somebody about it. Be honest when you're talking to them. They can't help you if you're not honest. Two, if you can live your life without doing medical transition, and maybe you're gay, maybe you are trans, maybe you're a crossdresser, maybe you're bisexual, who knows? But if there's any way that you can live without doing this to yourself, then don't. I would recommend that you don't because it's not fun. This is a lot of pain. It takes a lot of mental stuff to get this done to you. It's not an easy process. It's extremely hard, it's extremely painful, and it takes an extremely long time to get it done. And you're going to be in limbo for that time. So if you can live without doing it, then I would suggest you do that. But that's each and every individual. Don't make these decisions on your own. And if the minute you walk in somewhere, they just want to say, yep, you're trans, then find a new counselor because nobody can diagnose you that quickly. No. You can hear that testosterone. Of course, you can hear the testosterone. I was a dude for 56 years, retard. Okay. Once you do it, just find someone that loves you. Plenty of men and women into whatever feels right or into. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. What do we got here? Okay. Everybody, if you want to be true friends to your friend, if your friend comes up to you and says that they weren't born in the wrong body, you tell them why you think this way and tell them outcomes. Well, I don't think friends should diagnose other friends. I think they should be honest, though. I think they should be there to be a shoulder to cry on. I think that they should be there to listen. I don't think that unless they're trained, I don't think they should probably give direct advice on what to do or what not to do. Just be there for them. That's what they need, and suggest that they go talk to a trained counselor that is educated on transgender, but not somebody who's a transgender therapist, right? If you know what I mean, because they're confused now. The therapists don't know what to do. Generally, they would like to hear you out, listen to you, talk to you for quite a few months, maybe years. Then they can slowly break down what's going on inside your head. That's when, that's when, and only then can they make an educated, you know, decision on what's going on possibly in your head. It could be many, many things that diagnose themselves as gender dysphoria. We all go through it to some extent during puberty. All of us, every single one of us. It's just a matter of how it comes across, how severe it is, and how we deal with it. You know, all I know is there was 27,000 trans every year. Now there's 2.5 million. That's not a natural growth. You know, natural growth would be maybe a few tens of thousands, not millions. It's just, that's just ridiculous. But thank you for your comment. I appreciate it. What does that say? Once you do it, just find someone that loves you. I think I read that one, didn't I? Okay. Silly question, but you say you wanted to go back to being but you say you wanted to go back to being a man. Is there a way to make you dick again? No, there's not. And I didn't say that. Silly question, but you say you want. No, I did not want to. I do not want to go back to be a man. But if I did want to go back, no, there's nothing they can do. And they tell you that up front. This is, once this is done, it's done. There's nothing we can do because there's no more skin left. There's no more. Yeah, they take all excess away, and they, whatever is there, they put it there. Now, I suppose that you could go back and present yourself in public as a man, cut your hair short, wear guys' clothes. You just wouldn't have a penis. My friend that I interviewed last night said that he told me in private that he had a person that he knew that was, excuse me, a transgender lady and decided to detransition, but had breasts, and but just decided that they were going to just be a dude again with breasts. To me, I'm like, I don't get it, but okay, whatever. As long as you're living whatever you want to live. I guess it was too much to wear makeup and do the whole girl thing. And see, right there, I say to myself, that person probably wasn't trans. That probably not. That probably wasn't the issue with them. They were misdiagnosed, in my opinion. Something else was going on. Because I believe, now this is just my beliefs, I believe that you can't undo what's hardwired in your brain. I just do. But that's me. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a doctor. I'm just can go by my lived experience. You know, I think that unfortunately that person was probably misdiagnosed. And now they have to live with, you know, having breasts as a man. Whatever makes them happy, I guess. Okay, let's see. At least the breast implants are removable. Yes, they are. If you wanted to, exactly, they are. But I think wouldn't it leave a lot of extra skin that they'd have to like fix and stuff? I don't know. You'd have to ask a trans man how that goes. So if I have no intentions of reversing anything, do you miss your penis? Be honest. Yeah, I've said that earlier. At times I do. I work on a dairy ranch, so I work outside a lot. And it's a lot harder to pee outside as a girl than it is a boy. As a boy, because all the workers around here are men. So if they see you pissing on the side of a barn, nobody thinks anything. Now me, if they see me pissing somewhere now, squatting, it's going to be a whole different feel. Okay. Now that I miss having sex with my penis because I wasn't gay. I like girls. I still like girls. Having sex was not bad. It was good. It was really good. So I miss that for sure. You know, other parts, it's not just about the penis. There's parts about being a man that I miss. I miss the respect that you get. I miss the being able to walk through a dark parking lot at night and not have fear and not worry about somebody jumping you and raping you. That I miss. You know, when it comes to a time where I'm trying to have a serious conversation, and some people find it hard to have a conversation seriously with me because I'm trans. You know, So I miss the fact that being a guy, you would look him square in the eye and have the conversation, and there'd be that mutual respect. So yeah, there's a lot of things I miss about being trans or being a guy. Would I ever go back? No, no. None of them outweigh the benefits to me. You're reaching? How am I reaching? What am I reaching? I'm telling you my truth, man. If you consider it reaching, I don't know how you would know it's reaching. Are you a messenger? Messenger? No, not really. I don't think I'm a messenger. I don't know. Um, address this, please. If you still had it, boy, you would be. What? If you had it, boy, you would be a dream come true. You are hot. Sorry, but I'm serious. Oh my gosh. I just figured out what you said. That's a backhanded compliment, I suppose. Boo, stop that. You're tearing my chair up back there, cat, you crazy kitty cat. Stop it. Get down, you freak. Yeah, Blair White. What about Blair White? Blair White still has her penis. She doesn't deny it. She doesn't want to get rid of it, as far as I know. But she's happy with who she is. She's absolutely beautiful, right? She's beautiful, popular, beautiful, wealthy. What more could she want? She's got a great life. That was her decision. That's her choice. She could pass as a woman any day. Nobody would ever question her if they didn't know her, right? It doesn't make her less because she kept hers. She did what she wanted to do. Awesome. That's just wasn't it for me. Everybody's different. But you just said, no, I said I'm a male. I'm male. I'm a male, biological male, not a man. I don't have man parts. I don't want to be a man. I would love to say that I'm a female, but I'm not. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I'm a transgender lady. Transsexual. Transsexual means that you change your sex. And that's what I've done. I do not have any boy parts left. No sexual ones, anyway. None. Zero. Makes me happy. I know it's hard to understand. How could I possibly ever think that anybody could understand this unless they're going through it? It's impossible to understand unless you're going through it. So I don't expect anybody to understand. Okay, we got a little bit more, and then we're going to wrap this up. Okay, what do we got here? Do you know that Republican trans women, forget her name, but I think it's Blair White. I respect her a lot. You should, you sound logical like her. And left hates her because she calls it out how it is. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Yeah, you're right. It is Blair White. Also, there's a transgender man, uh, Buck Angel. Same thing as us. Same thing as me and Blair. We're all kind of. I'm not really right. I'm not left. I consider myself center right as far as political goes because I like to listen to the. I vote policy, not politician. That's the way I vote. But I'm not going to fool myself. I'm not going to pretend something is that it isn't. It just doesn't make sense. This community has asked the public to believe in stuff that's just not true for far too long. And to claim that we're females is just wrong. When they can't answer a simple question like, can you get pregnant? It's just stupid. Of course we can't get pregnant. Why would anybody even insinuate that we can? Now, can a trans man get pregnant? Yes, because they're biological females. It's not that hard, people. It's really not. It's pretty simple. If we could just live in a little base of reality and show people that this is our reality, but it's not everybody else's reality. Because here's the main thing: we're asking the public to accept us. The public is not asking us to accept them. Therefore, you have to give concessions. You have to admit things that when they're not true, they're simply just not true. To ride on these things and live or die in the battle for something that's just simply not true is crazy, and it doesn't work, and you get pushback. It's just a fact. That's how it is. Sorry, guys. Okay, what do we got? But you are gorgeous. Well, thank you, Lethal Wolf. I appreciate that. Are you a man's gender? My gender now, I guess you would say, my sex organs are that of a girl. Got a vagina. I have breasts. That's what girls have. Are they like a biological females? No, not even close. I imagine I would have no idea what it's like to have an actual born with a vagina. I'm envious when I see like girls walking around, they're teenagers stuff. I think, gosh, I missed all that. I didn't get to experience what that's like to be a growing up as a girl. I really miss. I'm sorry that I missed that, but I did. So I accept my reality. I grew up as a boy, but in my head, it was different. My head had questions. When those questions finally got answered later in life, when I had the maturity, when my brain developed enough to answer those questions, I knew what I was. Just but simply because I hoped or wished that I was born female doesn't make it so. I wasn't. I have to accept that reality. So I did what I could to make me happy, to match my body with my brain. It's not that hard. Okay. Do you find that the fetishism is less for you and older trans compared to younger trans gals, or is it about the same? The fetishism, I don't think it's a fetish. Now, and I'm not saying how dare you or anything like that. That's not what I'm trying to say here. Look, I know what you mean. But if you get excitement out of this, it's sexually arousing to you to do this, to put, put on makeup and dress like a girl, or if it's gives you, I don't know. In my opinion, I've never gotten excited over this. It's not like that. To me, it feels comfortable. I feel calm when I do this, not excitement. I feel like this is natural for me, not abnormal. That's a fetish. A fetish is when it gives you some stimuli to do that. I suppose that's how I would interpret it. And if it does give you a thrill or you get turned on to do this, then chances are it's not transgender you're dealing with, is some other condition, some other thing. And you should really look into that before you make any drastic decisions. You could simply be a transgender or a transsexual, transvestite, or a trans crossdresser or something like that. There's many other things that could be happening, and then you'll save yourself a lot of harm, because the worst thing that you want is you think you're transgender, you transition, and you've got the same problem you had before. So I tell everybody to look deep into it. Let's see here. Hey, Brooke, to be with a trans, does that make you gay? I'm married and my wife, okay, I'm married and my wife wants nothing to do with me, but I'm attracted to trans. I'm married and my wife wants nothing to do with me, but I'm attracted to trans. Now, when you say you're attracted to trans, here's what I would say. This is how I would judge it. Now, once again, I'm not a doctor, but if you look at a trans person like me, per se, right, and it's my girl parts, the fact that I have a vagina is what turns you on, or what makes you get excited about being with somebody like me, then you're not gay. Now, if the thought of me having breasts and a penis is what you like, then you might be gay, you might be bi. Just my opinion. Or maybe you're just curious. I don't know. It's all about what about that person that you find attractive. Like I said, if you find the girl parts attractive, chances are you're probably not gay. If you find the girl boy parts mixed, then you might be. It's just my opinion, though. That's how I look at it. Because I think it makes you gay to like boobs or vaginas. That makes you straight as an arrow. I gotta laugh at the curses hating in Jesus' name. Yeah, I know. I know what you mean, Jade. It's pretty bad. That gets really bad. Let's see. What is it? What somebody said? Where'd that go? There it is. Okay, super off topic, but should I go add chocolate chips in my Nutella sandwich? Can't choose. Chocolate chips in your Nutella sandwich. No. Maybe. I never liked Nutella that much. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, you should add chocolate chips in your Nutella sandwich as long as you're not allergic to chocolate. Absolutely, go for it. Thank you for sharing your perspective. You are so articulate. Thank you. I appreciate that compliment. I do. It's at first when I started to do this, it wasn't easy for me to talk about. But then I have to tell myself every time I come on here is that you go on for a reason, and the reason is to try to ensure that the next generation of trans people have it grow up in a different era, a different feel, a different understanding of what it is to be trans. Because I do think the majority of the public just doesn't understand what it's all about. I think a lot of trans people don't understand what's happening with them either, and they're reaching out, lashing out for reasons they don't even get. They're fighting for stuff they shouldn't be. They're putting their energy in the wrong place. I appreciate the fact that they fight for what they think is right, but in a lot of ways, they're fighting against a thing they're never going to win. Pick your battles. Pick your battles. Fight for things like, to me, I'm never going to fight for transgender people to be in women's sports. I'm just not going to do it because it's unfair. And if it's obvious, the science is there that it's unfair, then it's not even an argument. I would never waste my time there. However, when it comes to like the military, they just told a bunch of people that are trans they're fired. You can't be in the military because it affects your, fit for duty or whatever. I say, well, if they can't go to war, then put them on a desk job. I don't think you should just take their careers away from them simply because they're trans. But they don't want to do that. They want to fire them. And I said, well, if you're going to tell them that they can't do their job because they have a disability called gender dysphoria, then they should be allowed to get disability pay. You're taking their careers away for this, so they should be paid then. And they say, well, no, it's not. No, we don't think it's serious enough for that. But it's serious enough to take their careers away. This is where I disagree. This is where I think it's worth fighting. This is a battle that I believe is worth fighting for. No, but some of the other ones I don't. I think it's worth fighting for kids not to transition until they have the mental capacity to understand what they're agreeing to. That's not craziness. That's just being an adult in the room. But not for stupid shit or for getting up there. When I seen somebody get in front of Congress and one of the senators asked that person 10 times, can trans people get pregnant? Like me, can trans women get pregnant? She couldn't say no. I'm like, you dipshit. Just say no. What are you doing? That's just, to me, it's just so. Every time somebody sees somebody like me say something stupid like that, they just think that we've all lost our damn minds. And believe me, when you have to walk around dressed like a girl, when you're a guy, they already think you lost your mind. You don't need any help in that area. They don't understand what you're going through. But we don't need to give them any more fuel for that fire. Use common sense. Groomers. I'm not a groomer, dipshit. Okay, what do we got here? I find you highly intelligent and sincere. Thank you. I don't have sex, but I sure love loving people. That's awesome. I don't think. I think more people should not have sex. Now, when I was a guy, I'm going to admit something. Sex drove me to do things I normally wouldn't do. I mean, a penis is a very powerful thing. It can definitely control your brain. It's really weird. When I had mine cut off, it changed things about me that I didn't know could even be changed. Like, I never knew since I was a young adult what it was like to live without sex drive, without that desire. Now I do. And it's kind of freeing. It really is. I'm not telling anybody to not have sex because you should do whatever makes you happy, right? We need to be able to reproduce too, otherwise we'll die as a civilization. But it did other things too. I used to have night terrors every single day of my life, and the day after my surgery, they stopped after my bottom surgery, and it never came back. That blew my mind. I even talked to Dr. Swab about that, Professor Swab, the guy who wrote the book "We Are Our Minds," the one that discovered which part of the brain it is that shows your identity and stuff. And he says that it was probably because of my brain being developed the way it was. There was a chemical mismatch with the testosterone in my brain. So basically, it was coming out of my dreams as nightmares. And once that was balanced, was hit, and it stopped having that testosterone bombardment, I guess, for this part, that's why it stopped. It was incredible. I haven't had one since. I have not had a night terror since that surgery, and I had them for over 50 years every day. You tell me? Don't know why, but it did. I'm thankful for that because it sucked. Waking up every night screaming sucks. If you've never suffered from night terrors, thank the Lord because they're the most realistic, scariest dreams you've ever had in and you wake up every night trying to get out of it. I mean, and mine would be so I would be screaming, "Help me, help me, help me." Ask my partner. I said, "If you ever hear me yelling like this, you have to come wake me up. You have to." So she started to do that. Just terrible stuff. But it's gone, which is bizarre as hell to me. You're crazy. I'm not crazy. See, what is this? Many gays and trans people are abused as children. You'll need healing, not swapping body parts or going against what God created. God created me the way I am, whether you like it or not. That's what we did. Now, however, you're touching on a serious point. There are a lot of trans people that were abused. However, that does not make you trans. Okay, you cannot beat somebody into being trans. You can brainwash them. Absolutely, you can groom children if you do it long enough to think that they are. But most people that are getting beat up by their parents and stuff, or sexually abused by people, adults, they're not trying to convince them to be trans or gay. Now, I have known people that prefer women, like women that prefer women now because of what happened to them by the hands of a man. They cannot imagine themselves being with a man because of that abuse. That I understand. And I get it. And that's very hurtful. But that person needs help. They need counseling. They need a psychiatrist to talk to. They need to work that out. I think that any kind of abuse against a child should be treated the same as murder. I think you should get life imprisonment, if not the death penalty, if you hurt a child in that way. I think you should be put down like a rabid dog. think that's I think that's the second to murder that you can do to somebody who's killed their soul. This never happened to me, right? I never was that kind of abuse. Did I have some in my life? Yes, but it wasn't sexual. It wasn't physical like that. It was physical, more like a threatening or a beat me up kind of a thing. But it didn't. I mean, yeah, and it was terrible. It was the hands of a stepdad. But that's not why I am the way I am. You can't beat it in or out of somebody. It's just who you are. Why not go all the way with the delusion? Why not just go all the way with the delusion? Because for one, I don't think it's a delusion. I think it's a mismatch in the brain, and I have gone all the way. I have my surgery my second face surgery is coming up in November, and I am doing voice training right now, resonance training. Resonance. I only had one lesson, so it's really not working yet. And then after that, I'm going to have a pitch surgery to raise the pitch of my voice so it can match my appearance more. And then I will be done. Then I will have done everything that I've set out, my goals that will make me feel as close to comfortable with who I am as I can be. I'm not going to keep just having surgeries to have surgeries. I replaced the vagina, right? I mean, I got the vagina. I turned the chest into a breast. I've done my face for one step. I got one more to go. Will I ever look completely natural born female in the face? Nah, I won't. But that's okay. That's okay. And my voice, will it sound exactly like a girl's? Nah. But it'll be a little more high pitched. It'll sound a little bit more feminine, not so deep like mine is now. And that I'm okay with, right? Because there is no such thing as perfection, but I can do the best I can. See, I'm about smells and taste, good kissing, deep mental connections, laughter, oh, and Wonder Woman costumes. That's all I ask for. That is so awesome. I really like that comment, right? Smells and tastes. Now, the smells are one thing I could probably do without. Human bodies can make some really funk ass smells, but that's a whole different story. I like perfumes and stuff. Absolutely. Those smells are delicious. Taste, absolutely. Good kissing, perfect. Deep mental connection, that's where I really, really start to agree with you. I would rather have a deep conversation with somebody that's intelligent, well spoken, that you can actually get on the same level, the same brain level, and have those deep deep discussions. Those are more intimate to me than most sex. As far as the Wonder Woman costume goes, that would be perfect for me because I'm tall and big. I've thought about that as a Halloween costume. I really have. And someday I will. And I guess what? When I do, I will post a picture on my site here just for you because I am big. I am tall. Thank you for that. That just made me laugh. I really appreciate that. How did you die many times? Yellow? I didn't die many times. Thank you for sharing that very personal information and educating people. You're welcome. And I do it for this reason because I know people out there truly want to know. I know that there's people out there that don't understand what's going on with them. They don't know what to do. They don't know what decisions to make. And it does help to get somebody who like me who's going to tell you honestly what's going on. None of these surgeries are easy. You're taking a man's body and turning it into a resemblant of a girl's body, and it's not natural. Your body's not meant to do that. We do not even know the long term effects of estrogen in a man's body. I guess people like me are guinea pigs. Eventually, we'll have that as long time studies, but they never were taken that serious. They were always done just by word of mouth, by the what the trans people said. They weren't really studied by doctors. Now they're starting to do these studies because they need to know, for one, what puberty blockers do to youth. Because they can tell you, well, the studies say this, the studies say that, but they're lying because there's really no studies to refer to. There just isn't. When they have had people on puberty blockers for other reasons, it was for short periods of time, not for years. And what does estrogen, female hormone, do to the male body? We don't know for sure. Does it shorten your life? We don't know. Does it cause liver damage, kidney damage? We just don't know yet. There's just not enough data, but it's coming. We'll know stuff. If it is it going to take years off my life, it could, but I'd rather live fewer happy years than longer miserable ones. Do I want to die? No, of course not. I want to live to be really old. But that's just me. And I thought about this for a long time. I was on counseling for a long time. Figure this out. And blessed or not blessed, the waiting list for surgeries are extremely long. Extremely long. It took me, gosh, 2 years to get my bottom surgery. It took 3.5 years to get the breast surgery, and it's just taken almost 4 years to do the first face surgery. And I still have to wait another 6 months for the second one. So we'll be another year since the first surgery to get the final one. And I signed up for all of them at the same time. So it shows you how long you wait. I guess unless you have a shitload of money and you can pay cash, then you can probably do it faster. I've been sexless since November 17. Maybe that's good for you, right? I think removing that desire makes you look at people different, makes you appreciate friendships differently. Um, yeah, I think more men should probably practice some sort of abstinence and start to look at women for the human being they are, not for a sex object. And I say that coming as a man because I was guilty as charged. I fell into that category. I'd be probably one of those people now that I see that when guys walk by you and they go, dudes, that's not a compliment. I don't know any woman that goes, oh, wow, did you hear that? No, it's gross, right? Or if it's obvious that you walk by and you just obviously check out their tits, that's just, I don't know a woman that would like that. I just don't. People are like, nobody does that to you, but they do. They do. And it's just like, I don't mind being checked out, right? But just be a little more discreet and don't make noises. It doesn't help. It's gross. Just my opinion. Now, usually people don't do that to me because they know I'm trans. Some people like trans people. Get it? I mean, but still, even then, don't do that. It's not good. It's kind of gross. Let's see what do we got here. And if I haven't read your comment, I'm randomly picking these. I'm not hand picking anything. I just see a comment. I'm trying to pick the longer ones because I think if you took the time to write a question out, I'm going to do my best to answer it. Yeah, the cat calling the starting is so out of hand, it's pathetic. The cat calling, yeah, and staring is out of hand. It's pathetic and disgusting, and it happens so many. The women, where'd you go? women are trans to so many. Yeah, I didn't know that, right? And I was probably not guilty of being blunt about it, but I was probably before guilty of some of it. Maybe looking too long, or you know, to look is natural. To gawk or to stare is not. It makes women uncomfortable. And if you think that women don't notice, you're wrong. They do. Absolutely 100% do. They know that you went down the aisle 3 times in the supermarket, right? They know it. I mean, I had one guy come up to me about a few weeks ago. He went by me like 3 times. I was starting to get really uncomfortable with it. Now, mind you, I'm big, I'm tall. You know, I'm probably more intimidating than most biological women because just surely for my size. So I'm not as vulnerable as some. And then the funny guy walks up and says, "Hey, I know you. Did we go to school together and stuff?" I'm like, for one, young man, my daughter's older than you, both of them. It's like, no, but that was, I thought it was cute because I guess that was a pickup line or whatever, or they were trying to, but at least that person came up and addressed me normally instead of just like, oh, it's like, oh my God, that just so grosses me out, you know. Anyway, I digress. You're right, though. It is out of hand. And I think I've seen guys that are respectable, especially if they're with their women and they check you out and stuff. A lot of guys that do this trick. You think we don't know this, guys, but we do. They'll be walking with their woman and they see somebody like a lady coming up on them, and they purposely slow down. They let their girlfriend or wife get in front of them and let them walk that way so that they can check out the chick. It's like it's so obvious, and they think they're being so sly. Okay, let's see. Somebody says, Jade, that is so happy because I am so happy that I've run across this feed to help me see better. Thank you for that, Kenny. I appreciate that. Jade, what's your problem? What are you doing? Do you like men or women? I like women. I've never liked men. Now, remember, the part of the brain that determines how you perceive yourself sexually is different than how you perceive your gender, right? What you are attracted to is a different part of the brain. Now, my brain developed pretty much all in congruence to who I was born as, except for that one part when it comes to how I see myself, my identity. That was different. So, a lot of trans people are gay, which that kind of worries me because I fear that there's probably a lot more people that have transitioned that just will never say that they wish they hadn't, because then it would be admitting that you did something that wrong. But I have a feeling that a lot of them are they were just gay men and they were convinced that they must be trans. But I think what they're finding in when they run into this issue when they get older is being a gay man is being a gay man, and you like to have sex as a man with another man. Isn't that what being gay is? Or a lesbian woman with another woman? And I fear that they may feel like they made a mistake because they're not going to experience that. And like they feel in their minds, this is just my, I don't know this for a fact. This is just how I see things. This is just my take on it. And they're going to have sex with men that want to have sex with women. So it's not going to be the same experience for them. And I think maybe they jumped the gun because it was like more accepted to be trans than gay in their minds. That's just my opinion. I think that there's quite a few out there that are going through that right now, and it's terribly sad because they shouldn't have transitioned. They should have been told that it's okay to be gay. There's nothing wrong with being a gay man or a gay woman. There's nothing wrong with it. Just live that best life. Also there's a lot of trans people that are just trans and you can't do anything about it. It's those ain't the one I'm worried about. I'm worried about the ones that aren't trans, but they're being pushed in that direction unnaturally. That's who I try to protect. If you can live your life by not being trans or transitioning, then don't do it. Live that life. It's a less complicated existence. Okay, I'm getting tired here. My voice is starting to strain. Okay. Oh, look, hey, genuine question. How am I supposed to ever see you as a woman? You're not. You don't have to. Nobody does, right? It's it's not how anybody sees. It's how I see myself. It's how I perceive myself. It's how I feel about me. I'm too big. I have too many guy features to ever pass as a biological woman. And I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to live my life. I do not go out into public expecting anybody to think I'm a biological female. I expect people to think that that's a transgender lady there. That's it. I'm not ashamed of that. That's who I am. I'm not running from that reality. People just need to understand that's just who that person is. It doesn't make me bad. It doesn't make me better than anybody, it just makes me different. Just treat people like me with the same respects as you would treat anybody. That's all. Just accept the fact that this is just another one of God's variances in human beings, like red hair, brown hair, black hair, whatever. Just a different. We're just different a little bit, but generally, we're going to be kind to you if you're kind to us. We're not going to throw fits. I get what they call misgendered all the time. I have always said, how can you misgender me if I'm a biological male and you want to call me sir? I think it's rude to do that because it's obvious that I would prefer to be called miss or ma'am. But if you have to do that, if you feel it in you, then go ahead. You're not wrong. You're just rude because I am a biological male and I always will be. I would prefer to be called miss. It makes me feel better. Or better yet, call me by my name, Brooke. That's great. It's not mandatory. You're not going to get me on film throwing a big old fit because somebody called me sir somewhere. It's like, whatever makes you happy. What? You just told someone who chopped it off they were well grounded. I never told anybody that. If you took what I said that way, you took it out of context. Thank you. It's amazing the way to say it. That's how you are, and you are not forcing anyone to call you something that you're not. Except you for accept that you're a man and even allow people to be rude. Thank you. Yeah, I don't like it, Brittany. It's not something I just. I just to me, I've got to a place where other people's opinions of me doesn't matter to me. If you feel the need to be openly rude to a stranger, that's your problem, not mine. Right? That's on you. That's something you have to live with yourself. You can't hurt me. They just can't because their words and their opinion of me means nothing to me. What does mean something to me is my friends. My best friend is Christine. My parents, what they think about me means something to me. But that doesn't mean if they want me to change, I'm going to change. I'm still going to be who I am. But that means something. But none of those people would openly hurt me. Right? They wouldn't just call me names and stuff to hurt me. Other people would. And those people, I just think they have problems. There's something in them that's broken, not in me. Because if you feel that you should be openly rude or to damn somebody that you don't even know, then you got issues. You got issues, not that other person. You really got to look deep inside yourself. Stop looking at other people because you got to work out some stuff. Just be nice to people, right? Just because they're different than you doesn't make them wrong. It just makes them different. Brooke, I dig you. You're really cool. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate that. Now I'm gonna end it there, guys. I'm gonna do an after. What I do is called Brooke After Hours. I come back on here. Not so many things. I really don't like the trolls to come on there. That's not what it's about. It's about more of a one-on-one conversation. I relax. I usually change into something more comfortable. Not talking about laundry. I'm talking about like a t-shirt. And we just have a regular conversation as best as we can. There's a lot less people, and that's better. At least that's what they tell me it is. And it's my end of the night unwind is what I do. I stay on for about an hour. That's what'll happen now. As far as this feed goes here, this portion of it, I'm gonna call it good for the night. I thank you everybody who commented, even the ones that weren't the favorable comments. You took the time to comment, and I appreciate that. Hopefully, I did justice by what I was saying and didn't confuse too many people. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Thorns Over Rose. I'm Brooke. Oh, before I go, one thing I wanted to do before I go, I forgot. I wanted to release a new song, one of my new songs that I wrote. So I'm going to play this for you guys and hope you enjoy it. Where is it? If you don't like it, you can leave, but if you do, this one is called Thrill of the Hunt. This is about what it was, and I was reminiscing. People that say, "Do you miss your dick? You miss your penis, whatever." This is kind of like the feeling what I had back then. It's kind of a shitty song, but I think it's good. It's called Thrill of the Hunt. I hope you guys enjoy it.
There's fruit on the vine, still warm from trust, still tastes like hope, still hasn't turned to dust. But I don't want waits for me at home. I want the look that says you're dangerous. I want the eyes that don't know me yet, the version of me I haven't ruined. I tell myself it's chemistry, like that absolves the debris. I don't cheat for sex, I cheat for proof that I can still bend someone's truth, that I can still walk into a room and make someone forget what they knew. It's not about her, it never was. She's just a stage for the drug. I don't chase love, I chase the flicker right before the light gets thicker. I rehearse my innocence like it's not a practice. Get it ain't the kill, it's the hunt that feeds, not the taste. It's the moment she believes, the one within reach knows who I am. So I climb where the light still stands. Every mouthful rocks the same, but I still need the chase to feel my name. I say it just happened like gravity, like I didn't step off deliberately, like I didn't test the line for weeks, waiting to see if she'd pull me back. I flirt in ways that leave no proof, just enough to call it confused. Then I act shocked when it explodes, like I didn't load the gun myself. Oh, I know exactly what I'm doing, I just don't like the sound of it, so I rename it lonely, wide awake, anything but selfish. I tell her she's overreacting, I tell myself she'll understand. Funny how calm I stay when I'm not the one being erased. I don't hate women, I just don't stop myself. It ain't the kill, it's the hunt that feeds, not the taste. It's the moment she believes, the one within reach knows who I am. So I climb where the lies still stand. Every mouthful rots the same, but I still need the chase to feel my name. I leave a trail of almost women who thought it was real. I don't remember all the faces, but they remember how it feels to question their instincts, to replay every word, to wonder how something so small could still hurt this much. I disappear right after the high, right when the fantasy dies. I don't stay for the wreckage, I don't read the aftermath. I call it mutual misunderstanding, like silence isn't a statement, like walking away clean means nobody else bleeds. If you're a woman hearing this, you've met me before. I wore a smile and a reason and an exit door. If you're a man hearing this and nodding along, don't that tight feeling in your chest, that's recognition. I never promised forever, I just let you assume it. Fine, it was never the fruit, it was always control. Watching someone hand me their soul. I don't want love, I want escape from the mirror and the mess I make. Every ride ends up the same, still I'll never say this truth by name.
Okay, so that was that. I do want to play one more song for those of you. I don't even know who's still here, but this is a little more sensitive. I wrote this song for my daughter, my youngest daughter, who's having a really difficult time with this. This song here is something that I think people could more relate to. If you're trans, if you're separated from your family, you have problems with your kids, that you're talking to your parents, listen to this one. Then I'm going to sign off after it. But this is a song that really touches my heart. I wrote this for my kid.
She said, Daddy, you're here, but you're gone somehow. I'm trying real hard, but I'm lost right now. Old photographs don't match your face. Feels like something's missing in your place. I'm holding on, but the seams run thin. Grieving a man while he's still breathing. She wipes her tears, but the hurt stays true. Trying to love me, but she's missing you. Through her eyes, I'm a stranger she don't know. Through my heart, it's the truest road I chose. If love can bend without breaking in two, maybe one day she'll see me like I do. She lost a man when I became me, but love still love, and it don't leave. I spend my whole life hiding in my skin, wearing a mask with a practiced grin. Held my breath just to make them proud. Quiet dreams in a world too loud. Truth hit hard when the nights got long. Heart kept saying this life's all wrong. I didn't walk out, didn't walk away. I stepped in truth, but she felt me stray. Yeah, through her eyes, I'm a ghost in the old home. Yeah. Through my soul, I'm finally not alone. Yeah, if love can heal where the years ran deep, maybe someday we'll cross that creek. Yeah, she lost her dad. She thought I'd stay, but I'm still me in a brand new way. Two hearts strained on a worn-out line. Both her folks trying to buy more time. If tears could talk, they'd both agree. She lost her father, I found me. Maybe the spring will soften the past. Maybe the pain won't always last. If she reaches out, I'll take her hand, show her the truth she can't understand. Blood stays blood and love stays near, even when change feels sharp as fear. I ain't the man she's trying to find, but the heart she knew is still inside. Through her eyes, it's a story of goodbye. Yeah, bye. Through my heart, it's a chance to finally fly, fly, fly. If love holds on through the hurt and the rain, oh, maybe someday she'll say my name again. Oh, she lost a man the world once knew, but the woman I am still loves her too.
So there you go. Those are songs that I wrote for my daughter. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Yes, Boo does really love me. First trans person I followed on social media. Wow, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's Angel's. This song's for my kid. So, hope you guys like the song. The songs. The one was kind of an upbeat, kind of a screwy song. Oh, thank you for saying that, Jade. I appreciate that. It's those songs came from deep in my heart, especially that one. Um, yeah, there's others. Maybe I'll play some more on the after hours thing. There's one I wrote for my mom that is as heartfelt as that. When you get rejected for who you are, you have a lot of time to reflect. And I found a hidden talent I didn't know, and that was writing music. I don't write the music part, I only write the lyrics. But for some reason, my heart was poured out on paper. It translated to decent songs. that told my story. Now, maybe they're just good because I think they're good, but I think a lot of people will find something in some of my songs. I have a lot of them about what it is to be trans. I see you, do you see me? I see you, do you see me? That song is basically to people that are trans, to their families. I see you, do you see me? And then there's another one um, that's about God, because I asked myself a question: God, why did you make me this way? You know, you gave me this feeling, but no safe place to land. It's like, you know what I mean? And if there's a plan, tell me what it is, because I don't understand. I don't understand why you would give me such a hard life, but I'm accepting it for what it is. And that's what that song's about. There's many, many of them out there. But anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate it. If you want to stop by, I'll put a couple more of those songs on here. If you're interested, let me know. We'll play them. If not, I understand. You know, but anyway, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time. Okay. So now we'll end it with this. Bye, guys. I appreciate you all, every one of you.
Yeah, I've been told who I'm supposed to be long enough. I've been chasing shadows my whole life, stories told that never feel right, truth buried under fear and noise, too many hands, too many voices.